In today's video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how you can make a full-time income by liquidity mining in decentralized finance. We're going to be using platforms like Uniswap, Orca, and PancakeSwap. These three platforms are all decentralized exchanges. A decentralized exchange is where liquidity providers can come and earn income on their cryptocurrency assets, and then traders can come to these exchanges and execute trades as if they were to trade on a centralized exchange. But these trades are directly through their wallet, and it's decentralized, and there's cheaper fees. With that being said, I want to talk about the process of liquidity mining. That way we know exactly what we're doing and what the risks associated are. Whenever we're liquidity mining, there are three different parties, one of which is an automated smart contract, which is known as the liquidity pool. Then we also have the liquidity provider, which is people like us who want to actually earn passive income by providing liquidity. And then there's also the trader. The trader is the person that's going to be making us the money. We are providing a service to this trader, something that is known as liquidity as a service. So a trader would come in here and swap Ethereum for USDC, basically saying they would sell their Ethereum for USDC. They would end up having to put Ethereum into the smart contract and take out USDC. But where does that money come from? Where is that USDC in the first place? And where does that Ethereum that they're putting into the smart contract go to? That goes to the liquidity providers, and it comes from the liquidity providers. The liquidity providers are putting both assets in the liquidity pool. So they would be putting Ethereum and USDC. Make sure to subscribe, click the bell to turn on post notifications if you are new. I drop lots of videos like this one. Anyways, the liquidity providers like us would be parking our liquidity in the smart contract, and when a trader makes a trade, they would instantly get it. Liquidity providers park their capital for as long as they would like. They could park it for 1 year or 1 day. But traders, it's instant. They could put in their Ethereum and right out they would get their USDC. Well, with that being said, I want to dive a bit deeper. So let's just say as a liquidity provider, we start with $10,000 of Ethereum and $10,000 of USDC. So a 50-50 weight on our assets where we would be having an equal split. So guess what? If a $1,000 Ethereum trade comes in, then we'd end up having a little more Ethereum. So we might end up having like $11,000 in Ethereum, and then we might end up having a bit less USDC. So we might have like $9,000 USDC. And this is because our portfolio is rebalancing. And another thing is there can be something called divergence loss. So we could start with like $20,000, let's just say. But the thing is, as the price moves up, yes, our $20,000 could make a bit of money. It could go to $21,000. Let me write that here. Or it could go to $22,000, or and so on and so forth. But the thing is, we are being sold out of Ethereum. Our Ethereum is being shifted into USDC. Why? Because people are buying Ethereum, which is the reason why it's going up, and then they're giving us USDC. And on the downside, what's going to happen is the opposite. We're going to be sold out of USDC into Ethereum. And this is because people are selling our Ethereum to us. We are taking on exposure to it. That's exactly how liquidity mining works. Now, the fee that we're getting paid comes from this input right here. So that's going to go right over here to the liquidity providers. Typically, that is around 0.3% on average. It just depends on the liquidity pair. Now, this example is just Ethereum to USDC. There are also something called crypto to stablecoin positions, where you can pair something like Ethereum to a stablecoin, or you can pair wrapped Bitcoin to a stablecoin, stuff like that. There's also going to be crypto to crypto pairs, where they're going to be more correlated. And they could be more correlated because maybe both assets typically move in the same direction. Or it could be the other way around, where they might not move in the same direction. And that's what we're going to be diving into today. Now, looking at Uniswap, it's a pretty simple interface for trading. If you want to trade and swap a cryptocurrency, you go to trade and swap. Say someone wants to swap Ethereum for AAVE, you just type in the amount of Ethereum. So say I want to swap 4 Ethereum, you'd be getting 60 AAVE, and scrolling down, you can see the fee. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is the fee that the trader pays that will be paid out to liquidity providers like me. Now, as a liquidity provider, we can very easily provide liquidity. We just go over here, view positions, and then new position. We can go ETH, and then AAVE, that same position, and here we go. We would go ahead and select our max price and our min price like so. And then scrolling down, you'd go ahead and type in your deposit amount, and you could go ahead and deploy the capital and enter the liquidity pool. It's a very, very quick process, but you're probably wondering, what exactly is a low price? What exactly is a fee tier? And how are these deposit amounts even determined? That is where the confusion comes into play, and don't even get me started on where is the return that we could be potentially getting, because we have no idea, because we are just blindly deploying into the pool. That's where software like Metrix Finance comes in. It's the best software for liquidity providers trying to find opportunities. On the software, you can also simulate your potential returns and build out your portfolio. That means before hopping into a liquidity pool, you could use this Metrix Finance tool to try to simulate your returns. Now, Metrix Finance is laid out in a very simple and easy to learn manner. Discover is for finding pools. Simulate is for simulating your returns. The build section is for building out your portfolio, and the track section is for tracking your liquidity, seeing your fees, seeing your earnings, etc. So we're going to start on the Discover page. For exchanges, I'm going to select Uniswap, PancakeSwap, and Orca, like we said earlier in this video. Right now, I personally have positions on Orca and Aerodrome. Right now, you can see my Orca position here, sold to USDC. And for networks, I'm going to select Ethereum network since it has a very high TVL. I'm also going to select the BNB chain and Solana. So now it shows in the top right, we have 771 pools to go through. That is a lot. Now I want to start narrowing down these pools so we don't have to sort through so many. The first thing I'm going to do is sort down the fees APR. I'm going to do higher than 20% and then lower than 1000%. Reason being is typically these pools with over 1000% APR can be very risky. You could even go down to like 500% for your lower than filter or something like that. As far as TVL goes, we can start looking for stuff that is over, let's just say $2.3 million. Now we've already filtered it down to 199 pools. So we knocked out a ton of unqualified pools. So now what I like to do is go through and we can go to our middle page. So I'm going to go over to about page 10. Let's see. Now we're on page 10, and the reason I went to page 10 is because we have 20 pages in total. Now what I'm going to do is go to the top and sort by the highest 24-hour fees to TVL ratio. I'm going to click that. So now we'll see the highest first and the lowest last. Reason why is I want to find the middle ground. So the middle ground over here is about 0.03. So if we just go ahead and filter higher than 0.003, that's going to show us pools that are actively traded, and it's going to instantly cut that list down. So on the top right, we have 104 pools to sort through. Great. Now off the bat, we have a ton of opportunities, which is great, right? But we have to make sure these are opportunities that we'd actually want to deploy our capital into. And we want to make sure that there are real businesses behind these opportunities, not just memes that could go away the next day. At the top, I see USDC to wrapped BitTensor. I've heard of wrapped BitTensor before. I don't know too much about it, so I'd want to do further due diligence. For now, I can click the star and favor it. Now it will go to the favorite pools section at the top. Then I see wrapped Ethereum to Uni. I have made a video about Uni token before, so that could be pretty interesting to do more due diligence into. I could go ahead and favorite that. I'm going to go ahead and include the Sol to USDC position since I'm already invested in that one, so I'm going to go ahead and favorite that as well. You can also remove the filters and try to find some on your own. For example, I've heard of the render to Sol position, so I can go ahead and search for that, add it to my favorites, so later on I can do more due diligence. Now for this example, I have 5 pools right here at the moment. I personally don't like being invested into too many pools at once. I'd rather be only invested into a couple of pools that are very thought out and I have done my proper due diligence on. I feel like this is a much better strategy than going into like 15 or 20 pools and potentially getting burned by divergence loss, which is a risk. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not telling you what you should or shouldn't do with your money. This is just my opinion. And if you guys want to learn how you can stop just hodling cryptocurrency in your wallet and actually deploy it to try to make some passive income, we have DeFi Excel, which is only $47 a month. It provides you with a structured learning path, teaches you the fundamentals of DeFi, gets you onboarded and shows you how to pay the minimal amount of fees, and also shows you how to start building out your portfolio. You'll also get 30 days of access to the premium version of the Metrix software. So you're getting a ton of value for just $47 a month. So click the link in the description down below to check it out. I highly recommend it. And now that we've actually found these liquidity pools, we can start to simulate the performance. So I can go to the USDC to Sol position. I can go to the right and hit simulate. I'll right click it and then hit simulate in a new tab. Now this is a great way to start to look into these pools. Now I can simulate it with a $10,000 deposit amount. Now right off the bat, it will show us a range Metrix Finance sets, but we can go ahead and find our own range. Now you can see for min price, it shows like a weird number, 0.003 and max price 0.005. So I'm going to go to the top and swap the order of these assets. Now we can see more easier to read numbers like 190 and then 316.8. And then right off the bat, I like to look at correlation. Now, for a crypto to stablecoin pair, it's going to be super low, maybe even zero. That's because when Solana goes up, USDC is not going to go up because it's supposed to be stable, right? So now we have this price chart right here, and we can see how many USDC equal 1 SOL. Now, if you don't really know what I'm talking about, you should definitely check out DeFi Excel in the description, and you can see the price chart is going from low to high. Now, you probably think that's good, right? You probably associate a chart going up meaning it's good, but that's not necessarily the case. A chart going up could be good or it could be bad, which I know that sounds confusing, but we're looking at how many USDC equal 1 SOL. Logically, when the price is going up, more USDC tokens are equaling 1 SOL, meaning that SOL is outperforming USDC basically. That could mean both are going down, but USDC is going down more. These are a couple different examples, as well as the volume history. This for this pool seems pretty consistent, pretty solid. Sometimes you'll see a volume history that is like a ton of volume on the left, not much on the right, but this one is overall solid. It has some high days and some low days, but even on the low days, we're having a tremendous amount of volume. And we can also zoom out on this calculation range to try to see how the pool performed in the past 100 days. See, when it's set to 100 days, our correlation chart and our volume history is using the past 100 days of data. And if we try to go to the past 15 days, we'll see the correlation chart and the volume history using the past 15 days of data. So changing your calculation range can be a great way to try to simulate the most accurate return. Now look, for a basic rule of thumb, if you're a beginner, the wider the range, see the green on the right, the wider it is from each other, the lower the APR. This is 72%. But if you tighten it up, the range gets closer, you have a higher APR. Now it's 80%. Now me personally, I'm a passive investor. I want my passive income to be as passive as possible, as long-term as possible, and consistent. So I like to have my range a bit more wide. But if you're trying to go for very high APR returns, then you might want to have it closer. So this right here looks like a solid range for me, 178.2 to 287.5. It's a pretty wide range, and this yearly APR right now is saying about 67, 68%. It could change. This APR can definitely vary, but for right now, I could be pretty comfortable with this. So the next thing I would do is go ahead and save it to my portfolio in the top right. So you would go ahead and do the same thing I just did for the other pools in your favorite pool section, but first you definitely want to do your due diligence and research on the assets. So if you're looking at wrapped Ethereum to Uni, look at what Uni token is, look at what they stand for, see how it contributes to the DeFi ecosystem, and same goes for wrapped Ethereum. But if you want to take on exposure to the pool, you can go ahead and put it in your build section. From here, you'll see your range, your estimated fees, your APR, your deposit amount that you set, and you can go ahead and find this pool over on Orca. The reason I'm saying Orca is because right here it shows the pool is on Orca. I would go to the pool section at the top of Orca, and then I would search for the assets. In this case, it's SOL to USDC. I'd go ahead and type in the assets, and you can see there's different SOL to USDCs with different fee tier. I would go here, look for the one I'm looking for. So this one here has a 0.04% fee tier, so I'd look for that one. 0.4%, here we are. Now here, I would go ahead and go to custom range, and then I would go ahead and go back here, type in the min price and then the max price here. Now it's going to show us the custom min and max price we set. Then we'd go down to deposit amounts and type in our deposit amount. Now it can help us show our deposit amount when we go to Metrix Finance. Then you can scroll down and type in your deposit amount and type in the amount of capital you'd like to enter. You can use Metrix Finance to try to find a deposit amount that fits your investment style. Make sure to check out DeFi Excel in the description down below. It can be very helpful to you, and make sure to subscribe and click the bell to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload, and I'll see you in the next one.